Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle here. Kind of want to talk about multiple things going on in wrestling. One thing I want to mention from Raw, TNA, and one particular thing I want to talk about, Ziggler. So, talking about multiple things. I'll start with TNA. The Bound for Glory series, the top 5 finalists have been announced. It's Rob Van Dam, James Storm, Bully Ray, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. Because James Storm has the most points out of the series, he automatically gets shifted to the top 4. So this Thursday on Impact, or tomorrow on Impact, we'll list the final 3 out of the remaining 4 that'll go up into the finals at No Surrender this coming Sunday. So my thing is, who do you guys want to win the Bound for Glory series? Honestly, in my opinion, I have 2 picks. One, I really would want, well, actually, I say this. When the Bound for Glory series was started up this year, it was pretty much everyone's guess it was going to be James Storm to win it all and to challenge Bobby for the title. But now that Austin Aries is the new world champion, beating Bobby's streak, well, not beating the streak, but ending his streak, it seems like they could shift in another direction by having someone else win it instead of James Storms. Still have James Storms versus Bobby at Bound for Glory, but not with the title on the line. Or they could still go with James Storms and just be James Storms versus Austin Aries. But at the end of the day there, I'm not sure if that would be not saying it wouldn't be a good match, but I'm not sure if that would be a money-making world title main event match. Storms versus Austin Aries. I'm not sure. But who I'd like to see, and then also you have Bully Ray, whose contract has been going around. His contract is expiring, or has expired actually a couple of days ago, or expiring this week, and no one knows if it's going to resign or not with the company, because they want to resign him, but at a lower pay. So I don't know if it's going to do that or not. Devon, it's been reported earlier this week that Devon is already is not resigned with the company. His contract is expired, and he has not resigned with the company, and so they're going to drop the TV title because of that. So I guess you could pretty much say if Bully Ray doesn't resign, you can pretty much guess that he won't be in the Final 4 in the BFG series. But for me personally, I would like to see Samoa Joe get it. I think that Samoa Joe is a guy that has just been sidetracked. He's been lost in the shuffle. He's lost his passion, his fire, for over the last 2 to 3 years. And since his Bound for Glory series, or even since a little bit early this year, they've been kind of building Joe up, putting him with Magnus and having him being the tag team champions for a while, and then just slowly kind of building him up to being that, I don't want to say that big, huge, destructible monster, but just kind of being reminiscent of that Joe that we used to love in the early years of TNA. So I'd really like to see Samoa Joe, and he's only won the world title 1 time, so I'd really love to see Joe capitalize and be world champion again. The second pick, which will also be the obvious choice, would be Jeff Hardy to win the BFG series. Regardless of what Jeff, did last year and pretty much put the company in a whole lot of trouble. At the end of the day, Jeff Hardy is still a top draw. He still has loyal fans. Like a CM Punk, he has that cult following fan base where they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him no matter what he does. Jeff's the obvious choice. He's hands down, the money maker in that company, but one of the top draws in that company. And one thing I can't say I have appreciated about TNA is that since the whole incident that happened between Jeff and the company, they didn't shoot him straight back up to the top. They had him work his way in. He had to go through Jeff Jarrett. Since Bound for Glory of last year, as a matter of fact, late last year, and just kind of slowly building back up. So it's been about a year since Jeff has been champion. So it has been a slow build. They hadn't shot him right back up to the top. They had him work his way through the ranks again, which I do appreciate for TNA doing. But I can see Jeff Hardy being the obvious choice of him winning the BFG series. So let me know what you guys think. Who you'd like to see win the Bound for Glory series in the top 4, So yeah, let me hear your thoughts on that. Another thing I also want to talk about is Dolph Ziggler. I think Dolph Ziggler, um, man, Dolph Ziggler, so much potential, this close from becoming world champion, and I just think that Dolph, before he cashes in that briefcase, I really feel that Dolph Ziggler needs a big payoff match, and to me, I don't feel like he's getting it. I mean, sure, he had the feud with Jeff Jarrett. I mean, not Jeff Jarrett, Chris Jericho, building all the way to SummerSlam. The build was great. It was fantastic. They had a fantastic match at SummerSlam, but he lost. And to me, I think that him getting the victory over Jericho at SummerSlam would have meant so much more. And I understand that that was Jericho's last match because he was going on the tour with his band Fozzy, and the next night on Raw, they had Ziggler to get rid of Jericho because of they put Jericho's contract on the line and Ziggler's Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, and so on and so forth. And he beat Jericho Monday, but to me, I don't feel like it was a really good. It was a good. It helped elevate Dolph Ziggler, but it really didn't help elevate him that much because I really felt like he should have won the big match at SummerSlam. That's just my opinion. I mean, that's like saying, for example, last year when CM Punk went against John Cena here in Chicago, Money in the Bank. That's like saying if Punk did not win Money in the Bank here in Chicago last year, it's okay because the next night on Raw, he beat John Cena and won the belt the next night on Raw. It was like, no, he should have won at Money in the Bank because all the steam and all the heat was targeted towards that night, that moment, and they should have capitalized on it, which WWE did. But I'm just hypothetically speaking, like, try to put it in perspective as to what I'm trying to get across for you guys to understand. I don't feel like Dolph Ziggler losing to guys like a Randy Orton or a Chris Jericho or a Sheamus losing on SmackDown and then coming right back that following week on a Monday Night Raw and beat them on Raw. I really don't think that really helps elevate Dolph Ziggler at all to me. Just have him lose on SmackDown to go right back and win on Raw, it does nothing for me. Win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And I'm afraid that once he does cash it in, it's not going to be a big payoff for me. I don't feel like, I'll be excited to be the world champion, but it really wouldn't feel like, when you have a Money in the Bank briefcase winner, you want them to be hot. You want the guy to be smoking hot, so when they cash in that briefcase and they get that championship belt, it's a big explosion. You just like, wow. I don't get that. I'm not getting that with Dolph Ziggler. And I don't want what happened to Daniel Bryan last year happen to Ziggler, where it's a weak cash-in. Now, unlike Daniel Bryan last year, Dolph Ziggler has been staying on TV and has been putting him in matches, which is something, I can be grateful for at least. But I just feel like, to me, Dolph Ziggler has not had that big, he's had that big feud with Jericho, but in my personal opinion, I thought he should have beat Jericho at SummerSlam and not the next night on Raw. I think they could have found some other way for Jericho to exit him out the company or something. I really feel that Dolph Ziggler, he needs that big hump, that big feud to get him over, and just to have him, lose a big marquee match on a Raw and then on a SmackDown, just to turn around and have him win in whatever way, fashion or form he wins on Raw. To me, it doesn't make up for it when he should have won the first time on the pay-per-view on, the big SmackDown match. That's just my opinion on that. And then lastly, what I wanted to mention was about CM Punk and Paul Heyman. This past Monday night on Raw, they were here in Chicago. At the end of the segment, Punk gets into a car after knocking out John Cena, and then Paul Heyman comes out. I think this could actually be some of the best stuff we probably could be. Notice I use that word lightly, because WWE always has when they have potential something good, they have a way of falling flat on their asses and just screwing it up altogether. Paul Heyman and CM Punk, I think, can do absolute wonders together. I think it'll be a good thing for these two to work together. You have one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling today, still, who's not out of touch, unlike Vince and some others. And then you have CM Punk, one of the hottest superstars of today. And he's a pretty smart guy, I'd say too, in terms of knowing to keep up with the times and knowing, keeping tabs with the younger generation. You put those two guys together, and I think you can have some tremendous storytelling and creative stuff coming right out of the box. I'm dying to see, the work of Paul Heyman and CM Punk. My favorite wrestler of today, working together with one of my favorite creative minds in professional wrestling. So I think it'd be some really interesting stuff. Let me know what you guys think about, CM Punk and Paul Heyman working together. Where do you see this going? I think to me personally, I think having Heyman, who's a good just antagonist, kind of like character, or protagonist, kind of like character, I think helps elevate. I think it helps boost and elevate CM Punk even more as a heel. Instead of CM Punk just turning heel this year and just like, okay, well, Punk's a heel now, so what's different? What's different this time from him being a heel this year than compared to last year? I think having Paul Heyman in his corner gives him like that extra oomph to kind of like put the extra cherry on the top for his heel turn to make it just as good, but also different from his heel run last summer, in 2011. So give me you guys thoughts and opinions on these various topics I talked about. Comment, subscribe. Peace.